Chapter 10, Mando. Let's do it.
Yeah.
The Passenger.
The Passenger.
Non-spoiler.
Yeah.
So basically overall thoughts, and then we'll rank it at the end. And how many Wookiees?
How many Wookiees does it take to screw a light bulb?
It was a good episode, following up our pretty long episode season opener. I mean, premiere episode, and not the 58-minute long episode. So it was a little bit more, a little shorter.
Yeah, I think it was like 41.
It was still it was still longer than almost.
Or
all
was
the
it like 48?
I think it was a low 40s.
It was a low 40s.
Yeah.
What are you saying, Dustin?
Yes.
Yes. He says yes.
Good.
Yeah,
good.
it was the low 40s.
Yeah, you may be a little afraid at parts of this episode. That's not a spoiler. But hey, there's a little suspense. There was some suspense in season 1. This one's a different kind of suspense, I think. But there were a lot of cute moments with the child.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yes, Dustin?
Question.
No, so I'm just going to say the child, I don't want to spoil anything, but I'll just say I didn't like the child as much in this episode, which is rare. I think we're seeing a different side, although it could come back to change, you never know, because how this one ended off, I won't spoil anything. It was kind of like you left you hanging in some way. So you're like, what's going on? Why is this happening? But if they leave it the way it is now, honestly, I'll say without spoiling anything, I almost like Baby Yoda less, which is not a good thing for the show. But you know what? It kind of makes sense in some ways too when you think about certain aspects of the character, age, relative age, and all that good stuff. But overall, fun episode, I'd say. Just giving my 2 cents right now, then I'll let you guys talk more. Fun overall episode, and with some interesting references to, I would say, other pop culture things in some ways.
Yeah.
I really like seeing the space flying. That was really cool. A really hilarious part as well that we laughed at. I mean, there's 2 moments in this that I definitely laughed out loud.
Yep.
Ironic humor, but it was really funny. Not to spoil those again, but yeah, it was a good episode, but it was kind of, I'm kind of wanting to get to the meat of everything. There's so much we want to learn about these characters.
Yeah.
That for the second episode to kind of feel again like a slight detour. It still plays into things, but at the same time, it still felt a little detour-like. But overall, if it's a 1 episode thing, I enjoyed the episode. I had fun with it. It was like they were playing with effects like crazy, big action sequences in a lot of ways. So I don't want to talk forever, but yeah, overall fun, but I want some meat. Yeah.
Get some meat with those potatoes.
Right, yeah. And I mean, I would agree. It started out good, but then it was almost like I don't even know, like a gunked up machine. It was churning real good, and then it just kind of stopped. And it was like, there's interesting moments for sure, and some funny ones at that. There's a really good, oh my gosh. We all laughed out loud when we saw that. We'll get to that in a minute.
Non-spoiler, but
it was, let's get to the point, There's really, it's a filler episode for me. That's how I feel. It was good. It could have been better. Also, with these seasons being only 8 episodes long, it's like, do you really have time to do these kind of episodes?
However, I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I do know that from season 1 and Filoni and Favreau, they do know how to use bits and repurpose them.
That's true, yeah.
So you agree with that, Dustin?
Yeah, that was something I was gonna bring up too. Never fully count out Dave Filoni when it comes to these things, especially if you've seen Rebels. And this episode kind of felt more Rebels-like in a lot of ways for 2 different things. I'll bring them up in the spoiler talk. But never count out Dave Filoni completely. But like what Nick was saying, I felt the same way a little bit. I did feel like, I want more meat. And the thing is that their episodes are feeling more serialized. They're not connecting, and they do, but it's a very thin connection at this point, which isn't a bad thing. That's kind of how Rebels work too. I guess I'm just waiting for things to really kick into gear. And yeah, these things could really come back to the play in a big way. We just don't know it yet. So never count it out. I'd say fun episode for what it was, but yeah, like we said, give us some meat. But it wasn't bad. I wouldn't go as far as to say it was a step backwards. I would just say it's just not stepping forward. It felt like we were just kind of staying still as far as the story progression goes. But when it comes to effects, action, you know, a lot of stuff like that, I really enjoyed it. It felt movie, you know, it really felt like I was watching a movie in a lot of ways, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
So
Especially
in those aspects, I really did like it again.
Right.
Yes.
Well, and honestly, we haven't seen the next episode, so it could, you know, have a point to why it was taking a while, you know.
Yeah. Again, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau may have some plans for what felt like a little bit more filler than the first episode, which the first episode had filler in it if you look at it from that perspective, but because it was the first episode coming back from a long hiatus, season premiere, it didn't really feel, there wasn't, you know, it felt like he was still moving forward. This one kind of felt like he still has to do this thing with this passenger. And then, okay, so now the next episode, we got to get something.
All right. Dusty.
No, I agree with you completely. I was going to say something, but you covered it. So, yeah, I agree completely. So, I'm ready to give it my Wookiee Cookie review.
Wookiee Cookie.
So, what do we say, Nick, out of your...
Okay, 1 out of 10. So, a 5.
Okay.
Well, okay. Maybe a 6.
I'll just go simple and say 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. I'd say 6 out of 10 as well. I'd say almost in between 6 and 7. I'm right around there, but I wanted more. There's a lot of room for improvement, I'd say. But you know that review could change come later on in the season. So I'm giving a 6 with optimism that maybe this episode is going to pay off in another way. Maybe even in the next episode. We don't know.
Right. Yeah.
I like it. So how many Wookiees?
How many Wookiees out of 30 did we just give it?
Out of 30?
Yeah.
That's
18?
18.
Yeah.
That's slightly.
There's some room for Wookiee improvement.
Yep. You got a big better Wookiee.